Hi guys, I have this Mastercraft router. I bought this at an auction for I think 15 bucks. And it was bolted to the bottom of the table. I took it off because I need to use it by hand right now. And trying to use it, I can see it's not working good. See here it starts, but it keeps stopping. So I'm gonna open it up and have a look. I'm not sure if there's a capacitor in here that's maybe not letting the motor start up, or maybe the brushes are done. So I've already done videos on repairing grinders. I've never repaired a router before, especially this brand. But let's open it up and see if there's something we can fix in there. Okay, so I finally got that apart. It was a little tricky. So now I'm just going to take a look at the brushes here. Not sure how really to get at them. This one has a big break in it, but it's still there. I'm going to maybe clean it up a little bit, but that might have to be replaced. Right here is the same, so something must have happened to cause these to break and flake off. So I have a feeling that there's maybe bits of carbon inside the commutator there. Kind of an interesting setup. All right, so I'm going to clean that up. Also going to look at the bearings here. Bottom one feels good. Top one feels good. Now the commutator is dirty. There's some scratching, but I can see a lot of buildup in between there. So I'm going to clean that up. And now, I mentioned earlier, I think there might be a starting capacitor on this. So I'm just going to see if I do see one anywhere. Don't see anything here. So maybe there isn't. Oh, there's something here. Like there's a little transistor underneath there, so I'm going to clean that up. Maybe there's some corroded parts on it. See a couple of resistors there, so maybe this has something to do with like a starting circuit. Okay, so I was just cleaning things up here and looking at this transistor, and once I cleaned all the corrosion off, it actually looks to be in pretty good shape. Now, I suspected that there might have been a starting capacitor in here, and I can see it looks like a capacitor right there, so maybe that's part of the circuit. But what I didn't realize is that there's a speed switch here, so there's whatever this is, potentiometer or variable resistor. So when I put the knob back on, I realized that it's at its lowest setting. So maybe with the age of this thing, it just doesn't have enough power at the lowest setting to start turning. So I didn't think of trying cranking up the speed to see if it works at higher RPM. So what I'm going to do is just clean things up here because this is so old and dirty. I'm going to clean up the commutator, clean up those brushes, put everything back together, and I suspect that if this is the issue, that it was just too low, that it'll work, but it can't hurt to clean everything up. So I'm going to do that now. Okay, so I've just got a piece of 1000 grit sandpaper and my pick, and I'm just going to go around and sand this smooth. Let's get any of the roughness off, any sharp bits, jagged bits that may have been chipping off the pieces of that brush. And I've got my pick here just to clean out in between those segments to make sure there's no arcing across them. Okay, so I've got all that cleaned up. I've also taken the brushes and there was parts chipped off, so I just sanded those smooth to try to slow down more chipping. I want to keep as much surface area as possible so I can get most contact with those segments. Now this one was really broken a lot. It had a big piece taken out of it and the spring is quite weak. I don't know if we're going to have enough surface area here on this side. So I think I'm going to have to order some new brushes, but I'm going to put these back in and see if it'll work without the new ones in the meantime. I'll still order some because I think it's a good investment if this thing is going to work. So I'm going to put this back together now. Okay, those are really strange brushes to install. You have to lift up the spring and put this little tab in at 90 degrees to the way it's supposed to sit, and then once it's in, it rotates and then the spring pushes down on it, which is really strange, but I got those in. So I'm going to finish buttoning this up and we'll see if it works. Okay, so we've got it back together and we'll give it a shot. That's working pretty good. I'm actually going to turn the speed down and see if it was just an issue with speed being low. Yeah, so really the only issue I had was that the speed was set too low, and I guess that motor doesn't have enough torque at the lower RPM to start up. Even speed 2, so it looks like we need at least speed 4 to use this thing. So I guess this video didn't serve much purpose other than just showing you how to change the brushes if you need to, cleaning the commutator, that sort of thing. So if you do have a machine that's working like this, I guess there's not much you can do for the low speed operation. If there is something that you guys know more than I do, comment below. I'd like to know if there is anything I can do for the slow speed. But at least it's going to work at the higher speed, and I got a chance to open it up, clean it up, because there was a bunch of spiders in there and wood and a bunch of other crap. So at least now I know everything's good in there and it's nice and clean. If you guys have any ideas of other equipment that you'd like to see taken apart, repaired, if you like this video, click like as usual. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and thanks for watching. Oh, here's one for the blooper reel. I just finished installing the brushes. I pulled them back out so I realized I forgot to put this little shroud for the fan before I put everything on. So now I've got to take it apart and put that in there. So that happens. Shit, so as I'm putting the bottom screws in, I had it sideways and I actually pushed the armature back out. So I have a feeling that those brushes would have popped, so now I have to take the top back off, sit those brushes back in. So it doesn't always go good. So I think next time when I put these screws in, I'm going to flip it over so that there's no chance of it getting pushed out. Stupid mistake.